Welcome, Geshe, and welcome to our friends online. Speaking on behalf of everyone in this country, thank you so much for making these teachings so engaging. For 2 hours, our minds are not thinking and wondering about the election, which is less than a week away. And that kind of wondering is not producing any kind of positive thoughts in my mind. So thank you so much. It's very critical that we keep our minds in the Dharma now and always. Our friends are continuing to ask how they can make offerings in gratitude for your teachings and to offer to the Abbey to help us continue to do these teachings online. So you can go to our sravastiabbey.org website, open that up. On the top right corner of each page is a donate button, and you can make offerings with your credit card or your bank account if you're an American. Yeah, I think that's it for now. So we'll have Venerable Semke lead us in the recitations.
To the teacher endowed, transcendent destroyer, one thus gone, foe destroyer, completely and fully awakened, one perfect in knowledge and good conduct, one gone to bliss, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to the Buddha endowed, transcendent destroyer, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I bow. With pure bodies formed supremely fine, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain. Fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, supreme guide, to you I bow. With the supreme signs, face like the spotless moon, color like gold, to you I bow. You are immaculate, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I bow. Great compassionate protector, all-knowing teacher, field of merit and good qualities, vast as an ocean, to the Tathagata I bow. Through purity, freeing from attachment, through virtue, freeing from the lower realms. Unique, supreme, ultimate reality, to the Dharma that is peace I bow. Having freed themselves, showing the path to freedom, too well established in the trainings. The holy field endowed with good qualities, to the Sangha I bow. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind completely, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, a bubble. A dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merit may sentient beings attain the state of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from the ocean of cyclic existence, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, fallen sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered to you, may all beings enjoy this pure land. Venerable holy gurus, in the space of your truth body, from billowing clouds of your wisdom and love, let fall the rain of the profound and extensive Dharma, in whatever form is suitable for subduing sentient beings. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Yatayami I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Good morning again. So today I will begin with this session. I will begin this session with reviewing, I think, the third reasoning. Okay, third reasoning to establish that for destroyers of hearers and soldier realizers, realize, okay, emptiness of inherent existence. Okay, so just I think I made some, you know, some I think some change, okay, to the translation. So I did you know, my own version of translation of this, my own translation from, you know, Tsongkhapa's illumination thought. Okay, illumination of the thought. See, so this should be like this. If, okay, if lacked cognition of suchness, okay, that means if for destroyers of hearers and solid realizers lacked cognition of suchness, okay, cognition of suchness, they would conceive the aggregates such as forms to exist truly, okay. Their mind would thereby err, and consequently they would not have realized a fully qualified selflessness of persons, okay. This is because they, you know, these, you know, four destroyers have not eliminated the referent object of a mind, misapprehending true existence in the aggregates that are themselves, okay, the basis of designating a self or person, okay. So I think this is because they have not, I think this is because they have not, this is because they are, okay. This is because, okay, you have posited, okay, this proponent, okay, this is because, I think, okay, this is because they would not have, I think, they would not have, I think, this is because they would not have to be, I think, oh, this is because, I think, let me say, this is because they have not eliminated, okay, they have eliminated, okay, the referent object of a mind apprehending true existence in the aggregates that are themselves the basis of designating a self or person, okay. This is, I think, okay. So this is, I mean, this version is as quoted by Tsongkhapa from audio commentary on Madhyamaka Avatara. Okay, so now Tsongkhapa says here, okay, Chandrakirti's statement of this indicates that if the referent object of the conception of true existence with regard to the aggregates. The basis of designation of a person is not disbelieved, something missing, because the person will not be realized as lacking true existence. A fully qualified selflessness of the person will not be realized. Okay, so here, this Chandrakirti's statement of this, as I said earlier, as I quoted earlier, indicates, that very statement indicates that if the referent object of the conception of true existence with regard to the aggregates, the basis of the aggregates is not eliminated, okay. Okay, I think. Were not eliminated, I think, okay. The basis of this, Chandrakirti's statement of this indicate this, that if the referent object of the conception of true existence with regard to the aggregates is not eliminated, okay, then the person, then okay, then I think, okay, the person will not be realized, okay, as a consequence of that, okay, as a result of that, the person will not be realized as lacking true existence, okay. So this, looks, to show or indicate that the cognition of the emptiness of a person must be preceded by the cognition of emptiness of aggregates, or they are concomitant, maybe, or the cognition of the emptiness of person and the cognition of emptiness of aggregates are concomitant, okay. Either, see, if I think the emptiness of person is not realized, if the emptiness of aggregates is not realized, then the emptiness of person would not be realized, okay, or is not realized, okay, is not realized would be better, okay. So how to say, if you check, how to say, if you construe, okay, if you construe the direct meaning, if you how to say, if you take the, if you how to say, take, if you how to say, yeah, the explicit meaning, okay, as far as the explicit meaning of this Tsongkhapa's statement is concerned, it explicitly conveys that if the emptiness of aggregates is not realized, then it must be true that the emptiness of a person is not also realized, okay. This is the direct meaning, okay. So if that were the case, okay, then it should be like that. In order to ascertain the emptiness of a person, okay, non-existence of inherent being, okay, one needs to know non-existence of inherent, okay, aggregates. before knowing the emptiness of inherent existence of person, or or I think concomitantly, one should know the, how to say, uh, these two concomitantly. One should know the emptiness of aggregates and emptiness of a person. Okay, so that should that would that is not acceptable, because you don't need to ascertain the emptiness of aggregates in order to ascertain emptiness of a person. Okay, so therefore, what therefore, in the Tsongkhapa's mind, when he speaks this, what sort of meaning he wants to convey is that if the emptiness of aggregates are not directly realized, then it would follow that the emptiness of I think person, emptiness of persons, will emptiness of persons is not directly realized, because yeah, I think that's the meaning, that's the meaning, and that is realistic, so see, this is third reasoning, see, this is the third reasoning. See, consider four destroyers of hearers and solid realizers, if uh, they consider four destroyers of hearers and solid realizers. Can they be They they would have to be. I think they would have to be accepted. They would have to be accepted, not to have. I think directly realized a fully qualified selflessness of persons. Because they do not directly realize emptiness of aggregates. So that is the syllogism. That's the third reasoning here. So therefore, so therefore, there's some kind of how to say, some there, so therefore I think there would one would come with, I think, some sort of doubt regarding that. Oh, that such a statement of Chandrakirti shows that in order to understand emptiness of a person, one needs to understand emptiness of aggregates, because he's saying such and such things. Yeah, so this would be a doubt or misconception that would, how to say, that would come into being if one does not know the true meaning of this. So I think so so therefore so therefore it should be how to say, these statements, Chandrakirti's statements, and also the passages of the Tsongkhapa's statements of Chandrakirti's commentary should, how to say, should be understood, in terms of direct realization of in terms of direct realization of emptiness. Okay. Okay. Now this is one thing. Okay. Now, with respect to the emptiness of person and the emptiness of aggregates. Okay. If you say which there's some, how to say, in Tsongkhapas, I think Tsongkhapas medium stages, I think medium stages of the great stages, medium stages of the path to enlightenment shows, I think, explicitly conveys that, explicit, I mean, literally conveys that compared to emptiness of phenomena, emptiness of person is easier to, how to say, understand, or easier to understand or know. Okay, so that, now I think so that this is one kind of expression. That means the convenience, I think. See, such statement, okay, is based on some some passages in sutra. There's a sutra, okay, a passage from sutra which says that Chidarkyoga Dagi Dushine means that just as I think, just as you know the discrimination of true discrimination of true self, I think. Okay. Just as you know discrimination of true self, so you should, how to say, so you should, I think, how to say, know, I think, discrimination of true phenomena. Okay, I think. Yeah, discrimination of true phenomena. Okay, so that means, generally speaking, when we pursue the emptiness, okay, first we need to identify the object that is to be negated. Okay, so therefore, in the process of identifying the object to be negated, okay, it is much convenient, okay, to do this, to do this, how to say, procedure in terms of identifying one's own innate notion of inherent self, okay? Because to ordinary person's heart, I think, the self is the center of the universe and is cherished most. So identifying, I think, innate conception of inherent, innate conception of inherent existence is more convenient in the case of a conception of personal, inherent self than the conception, innate conception, apprehending inherent aggregates and so on. Okay. So okay. So okay. So okay. See. So therefore, I think it is much convenient. Generally speaking, it is much convenient for the trainees to identify innate notion of inherent existence. Beginning with, I think, beginning with I mean the now it is, I think it is more, generally speaking, it is more convenient for the Chinese to begin with, I think, innate notion of inherent self. When I think when it comes to, I think when it comes to, you know, identifying innate notion of self, innate notion of inherent existence. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So likewise, you may see, whenever something is more, you know, so it see, I said self. Okay. Now, you know, if something is very desirable or something, maybe it's very frightening, or you know, in these situations, okay, it is easier, or it is, I think, more convenient, okay, to recognize the innate notion of inherent existence. So therefore, I think Buddha also taught that one should exert oneself, okay, to know selflessness of persons at first, before knowing the emptiness of phenomena. So therefore, the mechanism for this is that if you identify in the notion of inherent existence of person at first, then through this process, okay, through this process, you will be, through this process, I think, you will be, I think, how to say, I think through this process, you will be easily, I think, how to say, I think easily, through this process, I think, okay, through this process, it will be, how to say, through this process, I think, through this process, then I think through this process, you will apply, okay, reasonings, okay, to establish to establish emptiness of inherent existence of person, okay. So this is very, how to say, systematic. First, how to say, first you did identify the hypothetical measure of inherent existence of a person, okay. And then after that, okay, after that you apply valid sign, okay, to establish that myself or I am empty of inherent existence, okay. So then through working with three modes of reasoning, okay, such the three modes of reasoning of such valid sign, you will come to, how to say, ascertain or infer the selflessness of inherent, I think, the emptiness of inherent existence of persons, okay. Also, that is so. In this case, you know, in this with the case of this procedure, you would know, I think, the emptiness of a person at first, okay? And then later on, you will ascertain emptiness of aggregates, okay? This is okay. But this order is not very definite, okay? For, in some cases, okay, in some cases, people, in some cases, okay, but in some cases, I think people, people, I think people ascertain the emptiness of aggregates first, and then later the emptiness of a person will be later. I think later. I think later they will ascertain the emptiness of a person. Okay, so they are okay. So the the order of these two cognitions is not definite. Okay, one-pointedly definite. Okay, now so this is okay, but with respect to okay the emptiness of a person and with respect to the emptiness of a person and the emptiness of aggregates, okay. If you put a question regarding, okay, no, I think with respect to, I think I would say, with respect to the level of subtlety, I think with respect to how hard they are, okay, how hard, how easy they are to ascertain, okay. Okay, if you put a question regarding that, if those two emptinesses, okay, the emptiness of aggregates and the emptiness of a person, okay, if if you put a question regarding okay, which one is okay, which one of them is more difficult, okay, more difficult to ascertain, and which one of them is easier to ascertain, okay. If you put a question like this, okay, the response would be there shouldn't be the degree of easiness and different, okay, degree of easiness and difficulty, okay, because the reason is that the emptiness of aggregates and the emptiness of a person are equally ultimate nature, okay. The ultimate nature of a person and the ultimate nature of aggregates are equally, how to say, equally subtle, okay. So with respect to the subtlety level of them, there's no any variation, okay. So therefore, okay, we should not, I think, we should not accept, I think, that between them, one is easier to understand, or between them, the other one is harder to understand, okay. Okay, so I think because the reason is that they are same, okay, they are same as, because they are same, okay, as, no, as ultimate nature of realities, okay, ultimate natures of reality, okay. So, okay. Now I think, yeah, I will begin with this. I will begin with the text. I will begin. I will read, I think. Read, okay. Some Indian, okay. Some Indian Some Indians, okay, some Indians, okay, some Indians, okay, here, what is this? Okay, like here, okay, some Indians refer to Shant Rakshita, Kamal Shila, and Parjunagara Gupta, and also Zedari, okay, so forth, mistook the term, the view of emptiness, okay, view of emptiness. This view of emptiness refers to the passage in Parmana, okay, Parmana, Vardika, Gariga, the view of emptiness, and asserted it to be a viewing consciousness realizing suchness. But this is not so. It refers to the view of emptiness of a substantially existent or self-sufficient person, okay. Okay. Although such a path cannot abandon the seeds of the afflictive emotions, it can temporarily stop manifest afflictive emotions, okay. Manifest afflictive emotions here refers to manifest coarse afflictive emotions, okay. Means that that can be, okay, that can be stopped or that can be seized by by familiarization with emptiness of a substantially existent person, okay. Our assertion must accord with the statement in the knowledges, okay. There are two knowledges, okay. Abhidhammakosh and Abhisamuchaya, okay. Knowledge is the lower vehicle and the great vehicle, Abhidhamma, okay. Compendium of the manifest and what is it? Abhidharma, okay. Treasury of the knowledge, okay. Treasury of the knowledge and treasury of the knowledge and compendium of the manifest, okay. The treasury of the knowledge written by Vasubandhu, Acharya Vasubandhu, and then the other one, Kundu in Tibetan, compendium of the manifest, I think, is was composed by Asanga, Acharya Asanga, okay. So these two Abhidhammas, okay. So our assertion must accord with the statement in the two Abhidhammas, okay. That meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness, which is common to Buddhists and non-Buddhists, abandons the manifest afflictive emotions of nothingness. So here, okay, again, that meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness, here is saying grossness means seeing a lot of disadvantages, okay. Meditating upon, okay, meditate these, with these, concentrations, these are unique meditative concentrations, okay. These unique meditation concentrations, okay, reflect on grossness of lower, what is grossness of lower, lower, what I think grossness of, I think I can say grossness of desire, okay, something like that. And then peacefulness of first level of concentration. And then again, grossness of first level of concentration and peacefulness of second level of concentration. And it goes like that, goes on and on like that. So here, grossness of means if this is a concentration belonging in first first level of concentration, okay, then it would, yeah, it didn't, the meditation is like that, looking at desire realm, okay, and seeing a lot of, miseries, disadvantages with respect to afflictive emotions. There are many, many, much more, okay, much more, many, many, and much more, many, many negative emotions compared to form realm, okay? And not only that, but also with respect to lifespan, and also with respect to health, I think. There's, in the form realm, there's no sickness. But here in desire realm, we have a lot of sickness, okay? So many, okay, a lot of, I think, subject to disease, a lot of varieties of disease, and less lifespan, and many, 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 many different negative emotions, okay? And whereas in the case of first level of concentration, the people, sentient beings who dwell, okay, or who dwell, who I think, who reside, I think, who reside in that, in that sphere, I think, I think, they, they do not have negative emotions as much as desire does, okay? And also, with regard to the lifespan, they have much longer lifespan, and they don't have any sickness, okay? So here, grossness and peaceful mean peacefulness, like means that like that, okay? So you need to have a common body, not only the special insight, okay? Union of special insight and common body, okay? This is your tool, okay? Then the aspect of the aspect of your union of common body and special insight is imagining, not reflecting would be better. Reflecting on desire RAM and reflecting on first level of concentration, and how to say, reflecting on them as, them, I think, reflect on them with, I think I should, reflecting on desire and first level of concentration with, with the union of common binding and special insight, you, how to say, you reflect, okay. Okay, you, how to say, you consider, would be okay. You consider that desire is how to say, is very, how to say, gross, whereas first level of concentration is peaceful, okay, in the sense that it has less afflictive emotions, it has much more lifespan, it has no any sickness, whereas in the desire realm, there's a lot of sickness, and the lifespan is short, and also a lot of negative emotions, okay? So like that, okay. So you, this is, I mean, just an example, okay, Okay, so this is common to Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Okay, so this method abandons the manifest afflictive emotions of nothingness and below. Means afflictive emotions of nothingness also refers to coarse level of, I think, coarse manifest afflictive emotions of nothingness and below. Okay, this should be understood as such. Okay, therefore, it goes without saying, apart consciousness realizing the non-substantial existence of the person can temporarily abandon. Okay, manifest afflictive emotions. Okay, okay. Therefore, it goes without saying. Okay, it is obvious. Okay, apart consciousness realizing the non-substantial existence of a person can temporarily abandon manifest afflictive emotions. Okay, so this shows. Okay, see, I think usually we say, okay, the afflictive emotions to be, I think, extinguished by commonly shared meditative path with sages of non-Buddhist. Okay, this is a particular term. There's a particular term. See, here also. Temporary abandon manifest. It goes without saying, but consciousness realizing the non-substantial existence of the person can temporarily abandon manifest afflictive emotions. Okay, temporary abandon manifest. See, so this, manifest afflictive emotions here, okay, refers to manifest afflictive emotions to be, I think, to be abandoned by commonly shared meditative path with sages of non-Buddhist. Okay. Okay. So therefore, when we talk about uncommon afflictive emotions, okay, there are two different afflictive emotions: common afflictive emotions, uncommon afflictive emotions. Uncommon afflictive emotions is that uncommon afflictive emotion is that afflictive emotion which is induced by induced by, I think, notion of inherent existence, but it is not induced by by apprehension of substantial existence of the person. Okay. Okay. And so common, when we talk about common afflictive emotion, common afflictive emotion should be common afflictive emotion should be understood as afflictive emotion which is induced by previous or by induced by apprehension of apprehension of apprehension of substantial existence of the person. Okay. So if you say the notion of substantial existence of the person, okay, itself is a common afflictive emotion. Okay. So therefore, when we say that the meaning or the meaning, you can say, or you can say the measure of being a common afflictive emotion. Okay. So the measure, I think, measure of being a common afflictive emotion is that either afflictive emotion, which either which is either induced by which is I think which that is better, negative emotion, which is induced by another, I think, another, which is induced by another, which is induced by, I think, I should say, which is induced by notion of, or yeah, notion of, notion of, I think, self-sufficiency of the person, okay. Or I think, which is, it should be easier. It should be easier for me, but okay. Notion, I think, the measure is that notion of a, I think, notion of a afflictive emotion, okay, the definition should be like that. Afflictive emotion, which is either induced by a induced by a notion of, I think, substantial existence of the person, or I think, or being a afflictive emotion which grasp at I think, substantially existent, substantially existent person, I think, okay, substantially existent person, okay, substantial existence of, I think, substantial existence of the person, okay. Oh, this is okay. Yeah, okay. I am the measure. I mean, yeah, the measure of the common afflictive emotion. I mean, I'm saying this. It is a. It should be a. Okay, so let me say this again. I think this the word order is a little bit difficult for me. So now I think I'm going to say this again. Okay, the measure of a common afflictive emotion is that negative emotion. Okay, a negative emotion which is either induced by a notion of substantial existence of the person, or a notion of substantial existence of the person itself. Okay. So now the afflictive emotions referred to in the phrase abandoned manifest afflictive emotions are those whose objects of the observation and subjective aspects are explained in the lower vehicle and great vehicle knowledges. Okay. So this is it. Okay. The afflictive emotions referred to in the phrase abandoned manifest afflictive emotions are those whose objects of observation and subjective aspects are explained. So that just means, okay, negative emotions which are induced by notion of substantial existence of the person, or the notion of the substantial existence of the person. Okay. These paths cannot abandon the manifest conception of true existence. Okay, these paths. Okay. These paths. Okay, cannot mm, cannot abandon the manifest conception of true existence, which the Prasangikas explain as an afflicted ignorance. Okay. Okay. Now, these paths, 16 attributes, the meditation. Okay. The meditation. Okay, meditation on 16 attributes of Four Noble Truths cannot abandon the manifest conception of true existence. Okay. These paths also cannot abandon view and non-view afflicted emotions that accord with the conception of true existence and differ from the mode of explanation in the lower vehicle and great vehicle knowledges. Okay. Abandon. So here, these paths also cannot abandon view and non-view affected emotions that accord with the conception. Means here, okay, negative emotions. Okay, views. There are 5 views. Okay, afflictive. There are 5 afflictive views, and also there are 5 non-afflictive views. Okay, in total there are 10. Okay, 10 different afflictive emotions. Okay, all of those which accord with the conception of true existence and differ from the mode of explanation. Okay, so that means those 10 different negative emotions which are induced by conception of true existence, okay, but not induced, okay, but not brought about by conception of substantial existence of the person. Okay. Furthermore, although meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness cannot abandon the manifest afflictive emotions included within the level of the peak of cycle existence. Okay. Although meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness cannot abandon. Okay. Because there's no above the peak of the cycle existence. There's no any cyclic sphere. Okay. Cyclic realm. Okay. So therefore, meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness cannot abandon the manifest afflictive emotions included within the level of the peak of the cycle existence. Okay. Okay. These can be abandoned, or okay. Those negative emotions included within the level of the peak of cycle existence can be abandoned through familiarization with the paths of realizing coarse selflessness of the person explained above. Here again, the level of the manifest afflictive emotions included within the level of peak of cycle existence also refers to gross. Okay, we should say if okay. Furthermore, although meditation having the aspect of grossness and peaceful cannot abandon the manifest gross afflictive emotions. Okay, should be like that. Manifest afflictive. Manifest, I think, gross afflictive emotions. Okay. Although meditation having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness cannot abandon the gross manifest, abandon the manifest gross afflictive emotions, okay, included within the level of the peak of the cycle existence as explained in the knowledge, okay. Okay, these can be abandoned through familiarizations, okay. These can be, means these gross afflictive emotions included in the level of peak of cycle existence can be abandoned through familiarization with the paths of realizing the coarse selflessness of the person explained above. Okay, now these points clarify Chandrakirti's statement in his commentary that paths which are said to be antidotes abandoning the afflictive emotions, but which lack a cognition of suchness are like paths having the aspect of grossness and peacefulness and incapable of abandoning all afflictive emotions, as in the case of the non-Buddhists. Okay, so I think this should be clear. Yeah, this is also the system of Shantadevas, okay, engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds. The great conqueror child Shantadeva also asserts this. He's engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds, okay, citing here. One is liberated through seeing the truth. This is an objector's opinion, okay. This is an objector's opinion. Objector's opinion, okay. Yeah, this is objector's opinion. See here, one is liberated through seeing the truth. What then is the use of seeing emptiness? So these two lines are expresses an objector's opinion, okay? See, someone asks, since one is liberated from the afflictive emotions, okay? Since one is liberated from the afflictive emotions through the paths, perceiving the 16 attributes of the four noble truths, also four coarse noble truths, we need to 16 attributes of the four noble truths. But four noble truths here refers to coarse four noble truths, okay? For instance, that the cessation, okay, the cessation, the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, and the cessation and path, okay, the truth of path, the truth of cessation, okay. So with respect to the truth of cessation in this case should be coarse one, okay, and also the truth of path also coarse one, and also the truth of suffering and truth of causes of suffering also coarse ones, okay. See, the truth of causes of suffering in this case should be innate notion of substantial existence of the person. Okay. And then contaminated activities, are also induced by I think conception of substantial existence of the person, okay. And also with respect to the truth of the suffering, here the truth of the suffering is gross on because it is qualified by being induced by, okay, being induced by, or being propelled by conception of substantial existence of the person, okay. So therefore, in this case, when we say Four Noble Truths, these Four Noble Truths should be understood in terms of course Four Noble Truths. Okay. So 16 attributes of the course Noble Truths. Okay. Such as impermanence and so forth. One does not need to perceive the emptiness of inherent existence in order to extinguish the afflictive emotions. So this is their position. Okay. See, they when they say this, okay, they do not say course noble truth. Okay, in their mind, this is subtle one. Okay, with from the viewpoint of Prasangika Madhyamika. Okay, these Four Noble Truths are course noble truths. Okay, not subtle noble truths. But when he, this, opponent, when he was putting forth his argument or his opinion, okay, he was thinking, okay, these, coarse noble truths as subtle noble truths, okay. So therefore, Tsongkhapa didn't put, course here, okay. Attributes of the Four Noble Truths, okay, impermanence and so forth. One does not need to perceive the emptiness of inherent existence in order to extinguish the afflictive emotions. In answer to this, okay, Shantadeva says, 2 lines. Scripture says, Scripture says that without this path, there can be no enlightenment. Okay, 2 lines. It is said in Scripture, okay, it is said in Scripture that without the path, perceiving the emptiness of inherent existence, one cannot attain any of the 3 enlightenment. Hearers enlightenments, solitary realizers enlightenment, and full enlightenment. Okay, with respect to not only full enlightenment, but also in order to achieve enlightenment of hearers, enlightenment of solitary realizers. Okay, one needs to one needs to perceive the emptiness of inherent existence. Okay. With respect to how this is taught in Scripture, Prajnakara Mati, okay, yeah, he's okay. He composed commentary on the engaging in Bodhisattva deeds. Okay, in his commentary, okay, Prajnakara Mati's commentary, okay, great commentary on engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds. Okay, quotes Madhya Sutra, Profession of Wisdom Sutra. Okay, which explains that one who discriminates true existence, okay, discriminates true existence. Here, discriminates true existence means one who has, how to say, discriminate, one who has conception of, I think, true existence, okay, has no liberation. And that all from stream enter to solitary realizers, okay, in the past, present, and future are attained, I think, in dependence on just this perfection of wisdom. Thus, Shantideva is not just referring to the highest enlightenment here, okay? Shantideva says, the root of the teaching is monastics here. But even it is difficult for those whose minds apprehend, okay? Inherent existence here, whose minds apprehend inherent existence, find it hard. Find it hard to pass. Find it hard to pass away from suffering. Okay. Okay. Whose minds find it hard to pass away from suffering. Okay. Find it hard to pass away from suffering. Okay. This, I think this one, the root text of the roots of the teachings are here monastics. Okay. The root of the teaching is monastics. Okay. That means, well, I think this is the footnote here. Who the monastics who have abandoned, okay, afflictive emotions for destroyers. Okay. The root of the teaching is monastics. Here, monastics refer to for destroyers. Okay, for destroyers. Yeah, yeah, for destroyers. Even such okay, monastichood is difficult. Okay, not to mention Buddhahood. Okay, not to mention Buddhahood. Even such monastichood is difficult. That is impossible if the wisdom realizing emptiness is not cultivated, because the conception of inherent existence prevent nirvana. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. The teaching, I think. Okay. Not, I think. Okay. 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 If the wisdom realizing emptiness is not cultivated, because the conception of inherent existence prevent, I think. Okay. Inherent existence prevents nirvana. Okay. 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 Here. Okay. Here, I think. Similar. Okay. I think I will. Here. Okay. Tenza Genoniaga means that Tenza in Tibetan. The root of teaching is monastics. Monastics here fully ordained. Genong in Tibetan. Okay. Fully ordained. Fully. The root of the monastic is. No. The root of the teaching is the fully ordained. Okay. Then, okay. If, okay, one's mind is associated with I think, conception of inherent existence, okay, it is very difficult to, it is very difficult, okay, to be, okay. It is very, okay, it is very difficult to establish such such fully ordained monks, okay, as you know, such fully ordained monks, okay. 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 The first two lines, okay, now the first two lines. The root of the teaching is monastic. But even it is difficult for those whose mind, I think it is also difficult, okay. The root of the teaching is monastics. It is difficult to establish such monastics, okay, because I think okay, I think okay, I think it is difficult for those whose mind apprehend, I think. The root of the teaching is monastics, okay, but even it is difficult for those whose minds apprehend inherent existence, find it hard to pass away from suffering. Okay, I think I will say this. Okay, then let me say thing in Tibetan. I think given that, I think the root of the teaching is the fully ordained monks. Okay, this is the literal translation. It would be very difficult to establish such monks. Okay, and furthermore, I think furthermore, if the mind is associated with conception of inherent existence, then it is very difficult to establish. I think, nirvana, to establish nirvana. Okay, so this is the direct translation. Okay, so what this mention is what sort of meaning this verse mentioning is that here. Okay, in order to achieve enlightenment, be it hearer's enlightenment or solitary realizer's enlightenment or full enlightenment, okay, one needs to understand inherent emptiness of inherent existence. Okay, so here, if one does not ascertain the emptiness of inherent existence, then okay, the emptiness of inherent existence would be non-tenable. Okay, no, okay, non-attainable, unattainable. Okay, that cannot be attained. I mean, okay. Then what happens is that the root of the teaching cannot be established, because the root of the teaching is the fully ordained four destroyers. Okay, fully ordained four destroyers. Okay, such as I think we have here Ubali, Kashyapa, Ananda, and so on and so forth. Okay, I think these are three, the main three. Okay, Kashyapa, Ubali, and Ananda. Yusung, Nyawakur, Kungao in Tibetan. Okay, these are roots of the teaching. Okay, these are okay. Okay. Since these are four destroyers. Okay, and these are the roots of the teaching. Okay, teaching in this case. Okay, the verbal. Okay, verbal teaching. Okay. Okay, so therefore, okay, we have this. These three arhats. Okay, four destroyers. Okay, collected. I think collected the Buddha's words. Okay, that is belonging to three baskets. All of the Buddha's words, three baskets, I think. Okay, so therefore, those three, Kashyapa, Ubali, and Ananda are considered roots of teaching, Buddha's teaching. Okay, because because they collect, I think, they collect all three baskets of, all three baskets of Buddha's teaching. So therefore, these three four destroyers are called the roots of the teachings because they undertook, sustained, and increased the doctrine. Okay, so this is what I think this is mentioned in commentary on the engaging in Bodhisattva deeds by Geshe Yeshi. So so therefore, the roots of the teachings are monastics who have abandoned afflictive emotions. Okay, now it's okay. Then again, you cannot establish the roots of the teaching, okay, because you cannot establish the attainment of the, or I think attainment of the cognition of emptiness of inherent existence. Okay, so therefore, if such how to say, if such remedy is not achievable, okay, then the rules of the teaching, the rules of the teaching cannot be also established because those three, mainly those three arhats are rules of the teaching. They cannot be, those three arhats cannot be established because in order to achieve enlightenment, okay, any kind of enlightenment, one has to, how to say, ascertain emptiness of inherent existence. Okay, so therefore, he's saying this. Okay, but even it is difficult. Okay, even it is difficult. Okay, then similarly, that means that if the mind is associated or associated with conception of inherent existence, then it would be very difficult to establish. It will be very difficult to achieve. How to say? It will be difficult to establish nirvana. Okay. For them, I think it will be very, if the mind is associated with conception of inherent existence, for those, for those whose mind is, associated with conception of inherent existence, nirvana is difficult to establish. Okay. Okay. Here, okay. These four lines teach that nirvana cannot be attained by means of a path having a mode of apprehension that involves conceiving true existence. Okay. Four lines teach that nirvana cannot be attained by means of a path having a mode of apprehension that involves conceiving true existence. Okay. Then I think, okay, mind which is associated with conception of inherent existence. Those, I think, those whose mind is associated with the conception of inherent existence, for them, okay, nirvana is difficult to be established. Okay. Mm. So difficult to be established means it's difficult for them, okay, to achieve, because as long as their mind is associated with conception of inherent existence, there's no way for them to achieve nirvana. Okay, so therefore, this last line means, okay, that that I think that yeah, I think therefore this last line means that as long as one's mind is associated with conception of inherent existence, it is very difficult or impossible for oneself to achieve nirvana. Okay, that's the meaning. I think that's the meaning. But I mean, literal translation would like this. Nyangadeva kawane means that, well, Nyangadeva simne migdan chenam means mind. If the mind is associated with conception of inherent existence, Nyangadeva kawane means that for okay, to it okay, to such a person whose mind is, okay, how to say, associated with conception of an inherent existence, nirvana remains to be difficult to achieve. Okay, now I think it's okay. In short, I think these 4 lines is telling that in order to achieve enlightenment, okay, or nirvana, one needs to ascertain emptiness of inherent existence. Okay. Now the Shantideva says, through abandoning the afflictive emotions, there is liberation. Then immediately thereafter would occurs extension of all afflictive emotions, I think. Yeah. Okay, there are 2 lines. Through abandoning the afflictive emotions, there is liberation. Okay. Then immediately thereafter would occur means immediately thereafter extinction of all afflictive emotions would occur. Okay. The first line states, okay, the opponent's position, which is that through cultivating the parts of the 16 attributes of the course 4 truths, which we should say course 4 truths, impermanence and so forth, the afflictive emotions are abandoned and liberation is attained. At this point, the debate concerns whether liberation from the afflictive emotions can be attained by means of only the parts of the 16 attributes of the 4 noble truths, impermanence, and so forth. That this is the meaning here is also very clear from the earlier debate. Okay, one is liberated through seeing the truths. What then is the use of seeing emptiness? Scripture says that without this path, there can be no enlightenment. Therefore, the former passage should in no way be interpreted to mean we assert that the parts of merely the 16 attributes of the 4 noble truths, impermanence, and so forth can extinguish the afflicted emotions, okay? But they do not liberate from all suffering, okay? This is not the case, okay? The former passage, okay, should not in no way, okay, be interpreted to mean we Prasangika, okay, exponent of Prasangika Mathematical system, okay, assert that the parts are merely the 16 attributes of the Four Noble Truths. These Four Noble Truths, course Four Noble Truths, impermanence, and so forth, can extinguish the afflicted emotions, all the afflicted emotions, but they do not liberate one from all suffering. This is contradictory, okay? If they can extinguish the afflicted emotions, then they need to do, they should, okay, they should liberate, okay? They should be able to liberate one from all suffering, okay? Okay, so therefore, it doesn't, also, Chandrakiri does not is not asserting that the common path of I think common path of I think seeing, okay, 16 attributes of the Four Noble Truths, Noble Truths, okay, such as impermanence and so forth, can extinguish the afflicted emotion. No. If they can extinguish the afflicted emotions, they must be able to, okay, liberate, okay, the meditator, okay, from all suffering. So, okay. The thought of, I think, Shantideva's refutation is the opponent maintains that a liberation extinguishing the afflicted emotions has been attained when the afflicted emotions that are also posited by the two hearers of schools are not manifestly active due to generating in the mental continuum in the parts of Four Noble Truths. Okay. Okay. The thought of, I think, the thought of Shantideva's refutation is the opponent maintains that liberation extinguishing the afflicted emotions has been attained when the afflicted emotions that are also posited by the two hero schools and schools are not manifestly active due to generated in the mental continuum, the parts of the gross, I should say, gross Four Truths. Okay. If so, okay, then immediately after having temporarily abandoned only the manifest, only the gross manifest afflictive emotions, okay? A liberation, extinguishing all contamination would be attained, okay? This is very clear, okay? If so, okay, if you know, the part of seeing 60 attributes of four 16 attributes of four gross noble truths, okay? If the path of seeing 16 attributes of four gross noble truths actually, okay, extinguish the afflictive emotions, okay, then that very particular, then okay, it also, I think, it also, okay, it would have to be able to, okay, uh, able to, I think it would have to be able to liberate the meditator from the cycle of existence. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So okay. So that is not true. Okay. So uh, that I think the part of seeing 16 attributes of 4 gross noble truths, how to say, is not, I think, is not capable of extinguishing the afflictive emotions. Okay. If it were to be able to extinguish the afflictive emotions, okay, then, okay, when through the application of that path, through, I mean, through the familiarization with that particular path, okay, when when you have temporarily abandoned the gross afflictive emotions, you would have to achieve a liberation, extinguishing all contamination. Okay, all, I mean, all afflictive emotions. Okay, that is not so. Okay, see here. Okay, Shantideva indicates that this cannot be asserted, though afflictive emotions are absent, temporarily absent. Okay, they are seen to have rebirth by power of the actions. Okay, see the gross level of through familiarization with path, seeing, okay, path, meditating on 16 attributes of gross Four Noble Truths. Okay, I think, one can extinguish gross afflictive emotions temporarily. Okay, okay, but it does not mean that he or she has already at that time. Okay, by the time he or she has extinguished uh, gross level of I think afflictive emotions temporarily. Uh, they do not, I think, they have not extinguished all afflictive emotions. Okay, because right after, because I think, because they will take rebirth. Okay, they will take rebirth through, okay, by the influence of, I think, they will take rebirth by the influence of contaminated actions. Okay, so therefore they are not liberated. So it must be true that they have not, how to say, eradicated all afflictive emotions. Okay. Oh, maybe we can I think have some questions, and then we can have some questions here, I think.
Sure. Are there any questions from the Abbey? Okay, I have one question. When you were mentioning that there are afflictive emotions abandoned by gracefulness and peacefulness, but that they are not the afflictions involving the conception of inherent existence. Can you explain what those afflictive emotions abandoned by gracefulness and peacefulness are? I didn't quite understand that.
Oh yeah, see, there we have, see, These are, yeah, like mostly, okay. These gross, mostly those negative emotions which are, how to say, abandoned by meditation on grossness and peacefulness is very, very coarse, I think, coarse affective emotions. For instance, okay, yeah, when we talk about here, okay, the desiring, okay, we have very, how to say, intense attachment toward form, okay, and yeah, I think form, okay, shape and color, and okay, then G, smell, okay, sound, okay, sound, smell, and taste and touch, okay. So these are main, okay, 5 sensorial objects, okay. With respect to the how to say, coarse attachment towards 5 sensorial objects. These are, and also when I say this, okay, the meaning is that there are many levels of many different negative emotions. For instance, even with the case of attachment or desire, afflictive desire, you, how to say in English, okay, if it is, okay, how to say, a little bit intensely, okay, to some degree intensely, how to say, making you unpeaceful, okay, by this negative emotion, then that particular negative emotion should be considered a coarse negative emotion that is to be abandoned by the application of concentration, uh, considering the grossness and peacefulness. Reflecting on, I think, reflecting on grossness and peacefulness. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, okay. In some intensity, okay. This is, I'm saying this of my source of saying is that my source of such saying is in Tsongkhapa's text, okay, on his commentary on mind of all basis, okay, mind of all basis. He has 2 texts, okay. One is the root text, the other one is his auto commentary, okay. His auto commentary on on the root text, which is about which is about, I think, mind of all basis, okay. So in this text, he particularly mentions the coarse affective emotions that is to be eliminated by the aspect of grossness and peacefulness. By the subjective aspect of, with regard to, I think, by the subjective aspect with regard to the grossness and peacefulness. Okay, this should be a little bit more correct in English.
Thank you. Another question. When you talk about the course 4 truths, is that the 4 truths that were explained in the first turning of the wheel that didn't explicitly contain the teaching of the
I can't hear. Oh, I cannot hear you. Oh, I cannot hear you. Oh. Oh.
Can you hear us, Geshe?
Oh, oh yeah. No, something. Okay.
Okay, I think that was actually our internet problem. I apologize.
Oh, there's a lot of. Okay.
Okay, I will repeat the question. When you think about the course Four Truths, is that the Four Truths taught by the Buddha in the first turning of the wheel? And what are you referring to in terms of the subtle Four Truths? Is that the understanding that came after when he taught the second turning of the wheel and the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras?
Oh, both of them are. He taught both of them in first training will of Dharma. So this, these two, levels of Four Noble Truths are actually, I think, the meanings. These two levels of Four Noble Truths are actually meaning of first turning wheel of Dharma. Can you hear that? Okay.
Could hear that.
Oh yeah.
Can you?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, these two levels are coarse level and subtle level of Four Noble Truths. Both of those, both of those two, levels of Four Noble Truths are meaning of first training wheel of Dharma. Okay, because there are two different levels of trainees for first training wheel of Dharma. Okay, the primary trainees of first primary trainees who follow the first training of Dharma are suitable to receive and to understand I think suitable to understand would be better, to understand the subtle level of Four Noble Truths. Okay, whereas there are many different. There are many trainees which are not that, how to say, sharp-minded or with sharp faculties, but they are suitable in terms of getting benefit from such teaching. Okay, in this case, okay, they would understand. Okay, from the Buddha's teaching, they would understand Four Noble Truths in terms of course Four Noble Truths, which are extensively taught to knowledges. Okay, to brothers Asanga and Vasubandhu's text. So there should be a source. Okay, Asanga taught this Four Noble Truths in terms of gross level of Four Noble Truths. Vasubandhu also taught Four Noble Truths in terms of gross level of Four Noble Truths. So they did not make it, okay? How to say? They did not make it by themselves, okay? They did have source or resource, I think. They did have source. They did have source, and they did source such explanation from Buddha's own teaching. That is mainly first turning of will of Dharma. Okay.
And then we have a question online. If you look in the Q&A box in the answer tab, someone is asking, if inherent existence is a very subtle object necessary for us to realize the emptiness of inherent existence of the self, does it not make the appearance of inherent existence also a very subtle object? If it is so subtle, how can sentient beings have the ability to recognize it and to negate it?
Oh, yeah. I will read this. Okay, it's if inherent is a very subtle object necessary for us to realize. If is a very subtle object necessary for us. Oh no, inherent existence is not necessarily to realize. Okay, inherent existence cannot be realized because it is non-existent. Okay, but I'm saying I think inherent existence. Okay. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the measure of inherent existence, okay, hypothetical measure of inherent existence, okay, that should be understood. Hypothetically, if inherent existence were, hypothetically, if inherent existence of thing, hypothetically, I think, if something were inherently existent, okay, then you would apply, you would I think come to know that what would be like that, okay? What is the measure, okay? If inherent existence is not existent, not existent at all, but if inherent existence were existent, then what would happen? Okay, so here comes the measure of the, how to say, inherent existence. Okay, the measure of the inherent existence, we need to recognize the measure of the inherent existence. Okay, hypothetical measure of the inherent existence, but we don't need to. There's no way to realize inherent existence because inherent existence itself must be negated by valid cognition. Okay, so I think the lack of inherent existence would be better. I think your question would be like that. If the lack of inherent existence is a very subtle, that is necessary for us to realize, I think. Okay. Then the emptiness of inherent existence of self, does it not make the appearance of? It's subtle, but oh yeah, subtle. Yes, it is very subtle, but there are ways. Okay, there are many ways to realize it. Okay. See here, inherent self, to realize the emptiness of inherent existence of self, does it not make the appearance of inherent existence also a very subtle object? Does it not make the appearance of inherent existence also a very subtle object? If so, if it is so subtle, how can sentient beings have the ability to recognize it and negative. Oh, yeah. Subtle. Okay, yeah. Yes. Subtle. Yeah. Yes. Subtle. Yeah. In here we say the subtle level of. I think the subtle level of object that is to be negated. Yes. Yeah. We can say the subtle level of object that should be negated. That is to be negated. Yes. So, but here subtle we say subtle. Okay. Here when we say subtle, okay. Normally we don't recognize. Okay. It doesn't mean that if we apply right procedure, if we apply, if we go through right procedure, we can recognize, okay, the hypothetical measure of inherent existence by our own experience, okay. But normally, okay, speaking, okay, the people do not, how to say, pay attention to it, okay, and people do not try to recognize it. And also, if there are people who want to recognize it, many of them go through, how to say, unqualified or wrong, I think, go through wrong method. Thereby, in the end, there will be just comparatively few people who are able to recognize it unmistakably. Okay, so therefore, okay, very rare. Okay, very rare. It is very rare, and it should be dealt with your own mind. You need to work with your mind. Okay, very diligently, and not only that, but also you need to, how to say, understand all the procedure involving involving recognition of innate notion of inherent self and innate notion of inherent phenomena. So that's how, yeah, okay, they are, how to say, termed as subtle, but not in the sense that 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 sentient beings not having the ability to recognize those, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
May the spiritual teachers who lead me on the sacred path and all spiritual friends who practice it have long life. May I pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. Grant such inspiration, I pray. May the lives of the venerable spiritual mentors be stable, and their virtuous actions spread in the 10 directions. May the light of wholesome dispelling the darkness of the beings in the 3 worlds always increase. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha. that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In the snowy mountain pure land, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezi, may you stay until samsara ends.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la, for taking the great time and extraordinary effort and care in making these teachings very clear for us. So we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we'll see everyone else this afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific time for our Q&A with Venerable Sangye Kadru. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you.